Put your faith in the light.
Hello guys, welcome to another one of my videos. This is Lightblade, and well, I heard that a lot of you guys like my weak auras, and I'm flattered. So instead of just giving them to you without any explanation, I wanted to make a video to show you guys my logic behind them, because a lot of the time people just download weak auras but then they don't know what they are for and like the thought process behind the person that made them. So with that said, let's go to the weak auras. Okay guys, so these are all my weak auras, and don't worry, they are not going to appear like this on your screen because, well, it's not going to be so cluttered. Most of these are just procs. Some of them are going to be just all the time on your screen to remind you about some things. So let's start with the column on the right. Okay guys, so this column on the far right is mostly for abilities that have cooldowns that you want to use like really fast all the time, or put on cooldown really fast. So we have here Exorcism, Consecration, and Wake of Ashes. Ignore this interrogation mark because this is mostly just for me. It's a J discounter, so when it procs I know when to use an important ability because it gives you a bunch of strength. So ignore that for now. These other ones next to the far right ones are for tracking important ability buffs. So this is my Crusade. Well, wings, you know, you want to track that, especially when we get to use Mad Paragon, so when we extend it, so you know how much time you have left and when can you use that ability like that last second, you know. The next one under it is Blessing of Dawn. So I'm not tracking Blessing of Dusk. I don't think it's important to track Dusk. It only gives you some cooldown reduction on your Holy Power builders, which I don't think it's worth tracking. But Blessing of Dawn it is, because it's an important debuff. It gives you 20% damage to your Holy Power spenders and 10% to everything else. So it's pretty powerful. So I think it's worth tracking that cooldown. Next, we have Divine Resonance. So this is just the buff you get when you throw your Divine Toll. Every 5 seconds you get a Holy Power and a Judgment. So I think it's worth tracking that so you know when you're going to get that Judgment. After that, we have Seraphim. Seraphim is a nice cooldown to track as well because you want to put important abilities in that small window. You know, you have 4 seconds to throw in there your Divine Toll, your Wake of Ashes, or something like that. It became a bit harder to use this because Seraphim now only procs about 20% at a time in dungeons. Before it was like 45% at a time. So after the nerfs, this is not as feasible as before. You can still track your Seraphim and like wait till you get a proc and use an important ability, but now just wait a little less, you know, like wait 3 seconds. If the proc doesn't happen, just use the ability because of how less procs you get of Seraphim. Okay, now let's go to the column on the left. Okay guys, so on the column on the left we have the ability cooldowns themselves. So the Divine Toll 1 minute one, the Wings 2 minute cooldown, the Final Reckoning 1 minute, and the Seraphim 45-second cooldown. So I have a weird logic here, so I wanted to explain this to you guys, is that when I don't see the cooldown on my screen, it means it's off cooldown, and when I see it I can see the counter like counting down, you know. So I think it's better if I show you guys in combat how this is going to work. So now let's go to combat. So you guys don't see the cooldowns here, but as soon as I'm going to use Crusade, Divine Toll, and Final Reckoning, you're going to start to see the counters going down. So you can see there I use Crusade, so my counter is going down and my little Crusade is up there like counting how much long my Crusade is lasting. And when I use Divine Toll and Final Reckoning, you can see both of them appear there on the left side of my screen. So after those abilities go off cooldown so you can use them again, they are going to disappear from the screen. So that means that you can use them again. So that's my logic on how I use those left column cooldown counters. Okay guys, so that's my logic behind those left cooldown counters. So if for whatever reason you prefer to always see your cooldowns counting down and you don't want them to disappear never, you can always go and change the weak aura. So you can go, for example, to the one that is for Crusade. I called it Wings. You go here, you click, then you go to Trigger, then you go down here where it says Show. It's going to be ticked, and when it says on cooldown, but you can swap that to Show Always. So now when we go back to the game, you can see that it's always going to show, and even if I use it, it's always going to be there, so it's never going to disappear. I myself find that a bit like cluttering my screen because there's going to be 3 squares on my left there, but I think it's just fine if you like it like that. It's going to depend on you. And well guys, that's my weak auras. I'm going to leave them down in the description down below in our Google Docs, so you can guys just copy it and paste it and use it. I hope this video was useful to you guys, and if you liked it, subscribe to the channel and leave a like to the video. Thanks for watching, everyone.